The next thing I'd like to do is introduce some very important guests today. Could I ask Joe's family to stand, please? This is Scott McIver, her son, Patty McIver, her daughter-in-law, and her beloved granddaughter, Rebecca. We're so glad you could be here. It's my turn now. When I first started thinking about this about 6 weeks ago, I was by myself, I was at home, and I was thinking about what I was going to say. And I was thinking of all those things, and the longer I thought, the more I was like, oh, she's so wonderful! And then I thought, well, hell spell, she is not dead, she is just retired. I have got to get a new perspective. Well, I came in the next day, and I said, Joe, I'm ready for the funeral, but not for the reception. Well, she and I got tickled, and of course, we laughed until we cried. And you have to understand that for the last 25 years, virtually every day of my life has been spent with Joe McIver. And most of those days we've laughed until we cried, which is what I'm going to miss. I'm not going to cry, stop it. That's not Joe has been many and is many things to me. She is my dearest friend. She is a sister, a mother, a supervisor, a mentor. We have been through many of life's milestones together. I was there when her son got married. I was there when her granddaughter was born. She was there when I received my degree, finally. And between us, we buried 4 parents. So this is a very emotional time for both of us. It's a very happy time. It's a very sad time. I am very honored and privileged to be a part of the life of somebody so well respected, so well thought of, and who evokes the emotions of so many people. And as a testament of that, I would like to give something to Jo that she's going to cherish for a very long time. As many of you know, you can come up now. We have gathered together. We have gathered together letters from all of her colleagues and friends as a testament to how wonderful and how well respected she is. And this is going to be many, many hours of reading for you. But you can't read it here, you'll cry. But I just want to say to you that we love you, we miss you. Georgia Tech is a better place because of you, and I'm looking forward to the next 25 years. And next, and last but not least, Dr. Bob McMath.
Some of us have been getting sad for several weeks now, and Frank, personally, I'm really tired of that. As Joe would say, I'm so over that. So I want to think about Joe in not a sad light at all. And Candy mentioned one thing that's been on my mind, is Joe's sense of humor. Now, we don't always pair the words registrar and sense of humor. It's sort of like librarian and wild or something. But in this case, it absolutely does fit. I wish I could go into some of the details of Joe's sense of humor, but they're members of our Sunday school class here, literally, and maybe the session from your Presbyterian church. So we're not going to get into that, but and like many of you, working with Joe on some things that were not easy to do, some days that were very, very intense, that sense of humor always comes through. And another characteristic for which I'll always be grateful with Joe is one that in her job and the work that she has to do with students who are not always the honor students who are making all A's, is compassion. But compassion which is fully integrated with integrity. The ability to do what has to be done, what needs to be done, always to uphold the fair standards of Georgia Tech, but to treat students with dignity and compassion has been a marvelous thing. I will say that Joe's compassion showed itself more fully after Mike Thomas retired as provost. But it's always it shows through. So we're all a little bit in mourning, but we're also very, very glad for Jo. And her friends in the provost's office and others that she works with want to give her something. Jo doesn't have time to sit down very much in her job. She's always on the move. And so, Scott, we're gonna present you with a Georgia Tech chair. Now, you don't have to just sit and rock. You don't have to do that. But we want you to have this. You're going to model it for us. The right size. Jo, I love you. We all love you. We're going to miss you, but we know where you live.
I'd like to say thank you to a lot of people that pulled this together. Miriam with taking care of the food and such, and Scott and Debbie doing the slideshow, which, by the way, if you haven't seen it, you owe it to yourself to see her at 7 in tights. Please enjoy, eat, and drink, and thank you so much for coming.